Saturday afternoon football in Bloomington. It's week 3 of the 2020 season. Kennedy, the home team this week, as they take on the Minneapolis Southwest Lakers. Alongside our crew and alongside Daryl Moffitt, Josh Powers with you. Keep saying this every week, DJ, but something brand new happening here in 2020 that we've never done before. You'll notice this is not Bloomington Stadium, DJ. This is Kennedy High School, the field turf behind the high school on the east side. Going to be a unique venue, the first time we've shot a football game here, so a lot of firsts continue in this year of 2020.
Yeah, I would tell you as a former football coach over at Kennedy, we would love to have this every Friday night. It is very unique. It is something that we do have to deal with 2020, but I got to give a big congratulations to everybody that made this happen, everyone from BEC-TV,
yes.
Everyone at Kennedy that made this happen in Southwest for coming over and being game.
Yeah, a lot went into this, DJ. We did not know until yesterday this game was going to be here. Now, with the snow earlier this week, Bloomington Stadium being a grass field, much more difficult once it snows to get that removed. As you can see with the field turf here, a lot easier to clean everything up. That's the reason this game is being moved here. And I just want to echo your thoughts here with the crew. That we had crew members here till 4 o'clock this morning trying to get ready here. We're inside of Kennedy High School. DJ and I are trying to announce this game remotely. So a lot of interesting things happening. First for us, for our broadcast. So we'll see how this goes, DJ. It's going to be anything could happen here this afternoon, including the game we'll talk about between Kennedy and Southwest.
Yeah, so looking at the field, you can see that there's no snow in the field. They did a very good job. If you go back to last week in the field over at Richfield, looked pretty good as well. Obviously, there was no snow, but, if we were over at Jefferson or, if we were over at the
Bloomington Stadium.
It would be very damp. I wouldn't think that would be very safe. You're going to mess up the field. The grass is not going to be able to catch the cleats. You probably have to wear some type of different cleats to be able to play that game. So I give a lot of credit to everybody to make this happen this week.
It was the right decision to move this here for player safety for that field as well. Moving forward, such an unusual year with an unusual amount of snowfall in October even for Minnesota. But let's talk about this, DJ. Week 3 of the season, Kennedy coming in at 0-2, Minneapolis Southwest 1-1. Both teams coming off tough losses where turnovers were the story for both those teams last week.
Yeah, both teams trying to figure out their identity. Both teams they're struggling with their upfront problems. Southwest, the numbers game and not being able to put enough guys on the field to be able to play. They had some injuries up front. But yet and still having 149 yards rushing from Nick Flashkamp, who did an outstanding job and had a lot of carries. But the turnovers end up doing them in. If you look at the box score, you say, wow, they had all those yards rushing. How, and they're dominating the time of possession. How do they lose? Well, you end up turning the ball over, throwing the ball, those two turnovers, those 2 interceptions. They're hard to come back from. Now, you look into the Richfield game last week with the Kennedy Eagles, much of the same thing. You're giving a lot of those guys carries and you're moving the ball. It's been the same thing from week 1 to week 2. Now you got to get the quarterback to be able to take care of the ball and put the ball in the end zone. And both teams are going to have to struggle with that today. If they can figure out some rhythm, one of these teams are going to win.
Games this week in the Twin City Reds Conference. You've got this one here, Kennedy and Southwest. Another game being played today is Columbia Heights and St. Croix Lutheran. One game did go final last night. It was Minneapolis-Washburn. They remain perfect at 3-0. They defeated Richfield 47-20. Also another game of note, Jefferson was in action last night out in Waconia and lost a tough one 19-11. Jefferson had a chance in the final minute. Through a Hail Mary, got it complete down to the 20 and then ran out of time as they tried to clock the ball for one more chance into the end zone. So a close loss for Jefferson there last night. But DJ, in this one, you mentioned Minneapolis Southwest. They're 1-1. They're coming off of that 20-6 loss against St. Croix Lutheran, where if they didn't turn the ball over like they did, they probably win that game. They dominated Columbia Heights in their season opener 29-2. And you mentioned Nick Flaskamp, all he's done in 2 games this year, 311 rushing yards for him on the ground and a touchdown. So obviously the math there, over 150 yards per game. And we talked to Kedrick Williams on Tuesday, and he's a guy that they are rightfully very concerned about.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that they would try to do too much to overthink this game. If you look at last week, 16 carries, 149 yards rushing, 9.3 yards per carry. He's the guy. You put the ball in his hands and you let him do what he do, because Kennedy is going to have to find a way to get him down on the ground. They haven't tackled bad. They just give up big plays, or they give up a pick six, which is going to put points on the board. But if you're Southwest, you got to get Nick Flaskamp the ball, and you don't want to get put into a lot of 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs. You don't want to have to put the ball in the quarterback's hands where he might turn the ball over. You keep the ball in number 7's hands.
The other player to watch for Minneapolis Southwest, number 3, Jaden Reed. We're going to see him on offense as a wide receiver. He's their leading receiver, and also on defense, he has 2 interceptions, which is the most on the team. So he plays wide receiver and cornerback. So a key guy there, Jaden Reed, number 3 for Minneapolis Southwest. For Kennedy, talked to Coach Kedrick Williams on Tuesday, DJ, and Marquez Monroe. We might see him. We know what he can do on defense. We saw that last year. We've seen that through 2 weeks. He might get some touches on offense. He had 3 carries last week. He may be a little bit more of a factor offensively.
Yeah, and we've seen them kind of give the ball to different players over the past 2 weeks, and they've done a really good job. Remember, we said that in week 1, and Coach Kedrick Williams said, we just want to give the ball to guys and see them grow, see them develop. Well, Marquez is one of those guys that's going to be a future star in this program. So you got to give him the ball and see what he's going to do. It's going to be interesting where he lines up. If you're in this game, I think you got to have something in your back pocket, and we know that Kedrick Williams is going to do that.
There's so many guys from Kennedy that have had rushing attempts here. I was preparing my stats chart. I'm going, well, this guy could get a carry. Got to include him. This guy, you got Deion Sherwood, Deion Barber, Marquez Monroe, Alisani, Zach Zesh, Marshall, Jesse Falk. These are all guys that could carry the rock at times for Kennedy, and they're also very diverse in the passing game. Marion Hanspart had a nice moment at Richfield with a touchdown reception from Jesse Falk, and so it just seems like Kennedy, they've got more tools maybe in the toolbox, but DJ, they need to figure out how to use them all effectively, and then really the thing that's hurt Kennedy this year, the turnovers, most notably those pick sixes, 3 of those pick sixes in just the first 2 games.
Yeah, I would just say, trying to find a rhythm, mixing things up. When you have a young offensive line like this, it's very hard to figure out what they do well. So you're just trying a lot of things. You're throwing things on the wall, and you're trying to see what sticks. So we've seen that these past couple games, yes, they're just trying to just figure out what they do best. Is it running sideline to sideline and getting outside with Deion Sherwood? Is it, the zone read and putting Deion Barber inside and running there? Is it the short passing game? Is it running the play action passing? They threw some long touchdowns last week. They are developing their offensive style. It just hasn't come into consistency yet. And if they can find some things up front that they do well, they should have a good chance to win this game.
All right, let's send it down to our field level for the starting lineups and our national anthem.
Welcome to the turf field here at John F. Kennedy High School for this afternoon's football game featuring the visiting Lakers of Minneapolis Southwest High School and the home team, Kennedy Eagles. We appreciate your attendance. We hope you enjoy the game. This game is being played according to the rules of the Minnesota State High School League. These rules provide for fair competition among the players. Spectators can help promote sportsmanship by observing the fundamentals of good sportsmanship with which we are all very familiar. Every spectator is requested to take personal responsibility for keeping this game at a high level of good sportsmanship. Just a reminder, fans, we need to be concerned about social distancing today. Spectators are expected to sit 6 feet apart unless sitting in a family setting. We ask all spectators to wear masks, and please do your part to keep everybody healthy and safe and help the teams keep playing this season. Your cooperation is truly appreciated. And a gentle reminder, the Bloomington schools and athletic facilities are tobacco-free. Please refrain from the use of tobacco products anywhere around Kennedy High School. I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please stand in observance of the national anthem.
Nope, we're not good.
Correct that. The anthem was technically unavailable. We apologize. How about if we say the Pledge of Allegiance instead?
Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are we ready? Let's play some football!
Well, there's our first wrinkle, DJ. No national anthem, but the teams are ready to go. And again, our crew has just done an amazing job to make this broadcast happen with even less fans than normally would even be at Bloomington Stadium in 2020. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. If you're watching live on our Facebook channel, please, if you wouldn't mind, like us, drop a comment below, tell us who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. It'd be greatly appreciated. I know the crew would love, with all the hard work they put in to make this broadcast possible for you out there, to get some positive feedback as well. So if you wouldn't mind, take just a minute. It takes way less time than our crew put in all the hours leading up to this game to make this broadcast happen for you this afternoon live on BEC-TV. So Kennedy will receive. They're in the home white, the Lakers, Minneapolis Southwest, in the visiting black.
That's a little different, isn't it?
A little bit. Wind, not much of a factor today, DJ. Temperatures, as you can imagine, it's cold. It's around 30 degrees.
That is a beautiful backdrop.
It's not Bloomington Stadium, but pandemics, moving fields. This game still is going to happen in just moments as Southwest kicks off with the return, or the kick, going into the end zone for a Kennedy touchback. They will start at the 20. Let's go over our keys to the game, DJ. Number one for Kennedy, they need to make Southwest earn it. They don't need to give them free opportunities and free points.
No, you can't just make mistakes. They're going to capitalize on it. Especially on offense, you just need to just stay the course, get some positive yards.
So Kennedy will line up their quarterback, Zach Zesh, number 4. He's a junior. And Alasani is the running back here on play 1 for Kennedy from the 20. Fake the inside handoff, and a little short pass complete to Zaire Marshall. And he is out of bounds. And they'll mark him at the 23-yard line for a gain of 3 for Kennedy on play number 1. Second key to the game, DJ, sure tackling. Obviously, that'll come more into play on defense, especially against Mr. Flaskamp.
You got to get him down on the ground. If he gains, 10 yards per carry this week, I don't expect they'll only have six points. They'll probably have more than that.
2nd and 7 for Kennedy. In motion, Marshall. He'll get the handoff on the end around, trying to use that speed, and he's cut down on a nice open field tackle. That's Marcus Maddox from Minneapolis Southwest on a loss of 2 for Kennedy. 3rd and 9 coming. And then for Kennedy, our third key to the game, we see it right there on that jet sweep. Speed and space offense. They want to get the ball out quickly to the weapons Kennedy has and allow them to use their speed.
Yeah, you see Kennedy really wants to you can tell they really want to get Zaire Marshall involved in this game. He's one of their speedsters, a very good athlete. They didn't get a chance to get the positive numbers there. We'll see what they do on 3rd down here.
Need to take it to the 30-yard line of Minneapolis Southwest. Zesh now under center. On 3rd and 9, the Lakers showing blitz. Marshall again in motion. And they may have waited too long here on this snap, as there's a flag. Usually that indication is delay of game where that flag's thrown.
That's a long developing play. It took a while to get them in and out of the huddle.
No referee mics again due to the pandemic. So we'll do our best to interpret or anticipate the call as we did there.
And this is usually the time where, obviously it's a passing down. You don't want to make a mistake here. If you're Zach, you're looking downfield, you take what the defense gives you. Get your defense on the field or get the first down.
3rd and 14, still need the 30-yard line. Little bubble screen. Marshall gets all 3 touches on this series, and he is corralled by basically the entire Laker defense, swarming to the football. So a good first possession defensively for Minneapolis Southwest. Kennedy forced to punt.
Forced to punt here. It doesn't hurt them too much for that play, but you can tell they really wanted to get Marshall involved. All 3 plays, getting the ball in his hands. Southwest is moving. Southwest is flowing to the ball. Yeah, they were swarming there.
10 of the 11 guys I counted were right at the end of that play, at least in the area. So now Christopher Martin to punt for Kennedy. Good snap and a pretty good punt away. And it was touched by the Lakers. They pick it up, though, on the deflection. A fortunate bounce for Southwest, and they'll start inside of the Kennedy 40-yard line. The return man, Jaden Reed, who we talked about, he was kind of in no man's land there and then maybe reached out those arms when he shouldn't have. Nearly cost Minneapolis Southwest there, DJ.
Yeah, that could have been a great break for Kennedy, getting the ball close to the middle of the field. Some space to move, and you can tell they, like we said, they wanted Marshall to get the ball. That would have been some space. You would have took a shot downfield eventually, or maybe even run the ball.
So Preston Engen is the quarterback for the Laker offense. So they start with very good field position. Engen will pitch it to Flaskamp, trying to turn the corner, and does. And he's shouldered out of bounds by Dion Barber at the 35 after a gain of 3. The numbers on Engen this year, 15 out of 37, 40.5% completion percentage, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
I like the look there, kind of a pistol look. We used to call it cannon with a fullback or an H-back in the backfield. And that was just a simple sweep to the outside. He looks like a kind of guy that eventually, if you just keep giving him the ball, he'll wear this defense down.
Yeah, Flaskamp, you mentioned his size, 5'10", 205. Second down handoff is to the other running back, number 23, Keandre Brown. He's 5'11", 200, and he's finally muscled down at the 30-yard line. After a pickup of 5, it'll be 3rd and short.
A little misdirection here, off kilter. The defensive line doing a pretty good job of penetrating and not over-penetrating, being able to break down and getting the running back down on the ground.
So 3rd down and a long one for Southwest. Certainly 4-down territory, you would imagine here, unless this is a severely negative play. And out of that shotgun, Flaskamp easily the first down and much more. Flaskamp will score as Southwest takes the early lead here on their first possession.
Obviously a devastating way to start if you're Kennedy's defense. But like we said at the beginning, Flaskamp, you just want to give him the ball and let him work. Looks like he was not touched as he skates into the end zone.
30-yard touchdown for Nick Flaskamp, just his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year. You'd have thought that'd be higher, given he's averaged over 150 yards per game, but getting it in the end zone hasn't always been easy for Southwest this year because of turnover problems. As somebody moved up front anyway. And it's going to be against the Lakers, it looks like. So that'll push back this point after.
Yeah, last week I looked at the box score and I said, wow, you got a guy with so many carries. He's averaging over 9 yards a carry. How don't they have more than 6 points? And then you look at it as the kick goes up.
And the kick is good. And it's Ramos, the kicker. So 7-0 Southwest. Tough first 2 possessions for Kennedy DJ. They go 3 and out, and then after good field position, Minneapolis Southwest capitalizes on it with that ground game.
You just want to be able to find some type of consistency if you're Kennedy, and it's hard to do when you're used to being over there at Bloomington Stadium. But this is more of a home game than even over at Kennedy.
Some technical difficulties right now, so please stand by as we get those corrected, as it's 7-0 Minneapolis Southwest here on BEC-TV alongside our crew and DJ Moffitt. Josh Powers with you. Kennedy trying for its first win of the year after starting out 0-2. Minneapolis Southwest trying to move above 500 at 2-1. Each of these teams behind both Minneapolis Washburn and St. Croix Lutheran in the standings, and St. Croix Lutheran figures to pick up another win today. They play Columbia Heights, a team that has really struggled this year. We'll send it to a quick break as we continue to work on these technical difficulties. First quarter action as Minneapolis Southwest leads Kennedy 7-0 on BEC-TV. We are back at Kennedy High School after some technical difficulties. 3rd and 7 for Kennedy as Zach Zesch's arms hit, and they're going to rule that an incomplete pass. They waited for a long time. That's one of those plays, DJ, that's tough to tell live. I will say it looked like his arm was moving forward, so Kennedy dodges a bullet there, but it is 4th down. We apologize for the technical difficulties as it's Southwest leading Kennedy here in the first quarter, 7-0. Eagles' first 2 possessions resulting in 3 and outs. With 5:16 left in the first quarter, Kennedy will punt for the second time with Christopher Martin. And a timeout taken by the Minneapolis Southwest Lakers, their head coach, Joshua Zucha. Of course, on the other side for Kennedy, Kedrick Williams. Kennedy got good field position off that kickoff, DJ, but unable to move it past midfield.
Yeah, they're not able yet to kind of get a push on the offensive line. A few outside plays, outside reads that can't get up the field. They try to go under center and get a direct run, but Southwest is just getting to the football. Coach Robert French, the defensive coordinator, said he's not going to play around. He's not going to do a lot of stunts. He's just mano-a-mano this week, and he just wants to send his guys hat on a hat and go get the football.
You mentioned to me in the pregame, Robert French, very familiar with Kennedy High School, DJ.
Yes, he used to be the defensive coordinator here, I believe, in 2016-17. He was over at Southwest for a short stint before that, and then came over here. And now he's back over at Southwest. He feels like he's back home, and he enjoys the kids. He enjoys the work that he's doing inside that community. Obviously, there's a lot going on that side of town.
So Martin to punt for the second time from his own 46. And blasts it high into the air. Fair catch called for. Southwest lets this bounce, and it's down at the 28-yard line. So that's where Southwest will start a 26-yard punt, no return. We get to see that Laker offense for the second time. The first time they did quite nicely. 4 plays, 38 yards, and a touchdown.
Flash camp so far, only 2 carries, but one of them to the house for 30 yards. So we'll see what they do this time. I can't guess that they would try to do anything different than give number 7 the ball.
They've been running behind that left side of the line, too, on those plays. And they go right back to that left side, and more room for Flaskamp. Past the 40, breaks a tackle into Kennedy territory. And still on the move with a late flag down, finally marked out of bounds at the 29-yard line for Kennedy, a gain of 42.
If they are not careful, Flashcamp could have a career day.
That flag was on the, you see it was thrown in the complete opposite side of where that run was happening. And it's a sideline warning against Kennedy, so this play will stand. Correction, gain of 43 for Flaskamp, so he's already over 75 yards here in the first quarter.
They got to find a way to get penetration, break down their feet, get their hands on him. He's not even being touched within the first 15, 20 yards. So if he's got a lot of yards without even being touched, without even being hit.
Inside run this time on first down. That's Keandre Brown. He's pushed back after a gain of a couple. That was a much better surge by the D-line of Kennedy.
If you look, I don't know if you look, but there's 3 guys in the defensive backfield that took one of the defensive linemen all the way about 15, 20 yards back. This Southwest offensive line feels like they can dominate. Kennedy has to change the mindset right now. You got to get off the blocks, be tough, and make the tackles. It starts up front.
It doesn't look like a terribly large offensive line either for Southwest.
No, they just have the right mentality right now.
Some of those numbers a little bit trickier to see. Kennedy's numbers much easier for us to see looking on our monitors here. 2nd and 8. Back to throw, and completing the pass was Preston Engen, but it's a short gain to Brown. Nice tackle by Lavelle Miller. It'll set up 3rd down for Southwest at the 23-yard line. Just a gain of 2 there.
A busted play. The play action went the wrong way, but they still found a way to get the ball to Brown for some good yards. This is a key play here for Kennedy.
That was the first pass attempt for Preston Engen. 4 down territory here, you would think. I'd go right back to that left side of the offensive line. Behind 50 and 67. Up the middle, Flaskamp broke a couple tackles, and he'll have the first down with that second effort. So he takes it inside the 15 to the 14 for a gain of 8.
Southwest with all the momentum right now. This is just a straight ISO situation as Flaskamp goes right up the middle, taking a bunch of Kennedy Eagles with him.
I mean, you look at their offensive line. Graham Knapp is 5'10", 185. Derek Lind, 5'11", 225. These aren't huge guys, DJ, but they're moving Kennedy right now. Toss to Flaskamp on first down. Squeezes down toward the 10-yard line, and he reaches the 10 for a gain of 4.
But when you know where you're going, you don't have to do anything but be more aggressive. These plays that we see from Southwest, they're not misdirection. They aren't tricky. They are straightforward leverage plays. I know where I want to go, and I'm stepping toward that gap, and I'm going to beat you there. And they're just being more physical than Kennedy right now.
They do have Sam Bennick, number 67, 6'4", 225, as that left tackle. So 2nd and 6. Right back to Flaskamp. Broke another tackle, falls forward to the 6-yard line, very close to the first down. He'll be about a yard short. 3rd and 1 upcoming for Minneapolis Southwest as they try to punch it in again.
That was the first time we saw a bit of a misdirection. As you see the pulling guard and tackle come across. They miss Deion Barber there. Deion Barber misses the tackle, not breaking down his feet. A guy like Flaskamp, you just got to meet him head on, straighten the gap. He has pretty good feet for his size.
He's not overly fast. He's not extremely large, but he's been able to squeeze through some tacklers, pick up some extra yards. 3rd and short. They toss it to him wide. Kennedy stretches it out. Flaskamp still on his feet, dives for the end zone, and he's in for the touchdown. What a run from Nick Flaskamp. Gets in the end zone for the second time.
He is on a roll. Like you said, feed me more, feed me more. 6 points. They get outside on the sweep here. You're going to see they're there for the tackle. Just can't wrap him up. And right here, trying to go for the ball instead of wrapping up, he gets into the end zone for Southwest 6.
We talked about one of our keys to the game for Kennedy, tackling, and we've seen it already hurt them, as I believe the Eagles go offside here. And yeah, the first man missed for Kennedy. That was going to be a tough play. It was a good effort on the dive, but where you see that play break down, DJ, is Kennedy had 2 more tacklers there. Would have stopped him short of the first down. Forget about the touchdown, but couldn't make the play.
Well,
see that penalty declined.
Kennedy has to shoot the hips, tackling really high right now. Not a lot of ways to really get your conditioning this week with the snow coming and, not really being able to. They watched a lot of film, but they couldn't really get out on the field as much as they wanted to. They seem a little gassed, tackling high, missing tackles.
Southwest now moves. Not sure why they declined that penalty, Southwest. They could have moved it a yard closer, maybe tried a 2-point conversion. Why not get a yard closer anyway? But now they'll be moved back 5 yards.
Yeah, I gave up questioning what coaches do. A lot of time.
It's not either. We're talking about a yard, so it's not a big deal. But so they'll try it here. Last extra point was converted from this exact distance as well. And this kick up and good. So with 1:24 left in the first quarter, Minneapolis Southwest, they've had the ball twice, and they've gone down the field twice. And Nick Flaskamp nearing 100 yards already here just in the first quarter.
Just dominating up front if you're Southwest. and you're not trying to trick them. You're not trying to do anything different, but just run to your spot. Direction runs, the sweep, the ISO. They're not doing the dive with the fullback. You haven't seen much in the past couple of possessions, but it's working. And like we said earlier, there's no reason to even switch anything up. Just keep doing what you do. 149 yards rushing last week. I was like dumbfounded that they only had 6 points. I couldn't believe it.
They're not making the mistakes like they did a week ago against St. Croix Lutheran. And this is just interesting for Kennedy because you look at their first 2 games, they did a pretty good job against Washburn limiting their running backs. Last week it was really the quarterback Ryan Miles that hurt him with his feet, not the running game. But here it's just been a domination of the line of scrimmage against Kennedy that we really haven't seen in their first 2 games. You wonder if that lack of practice has played into it as Zaire Marshall takes it close to the 30.
And it kind of seems like they're still trying to find where guys are placed. You know, you're still trying to find out who can play where. You know, you got Zach playing the quarterback position. He's pretty much almost sewed it up. He's got 3 touchdown passes this year. You're going to let him make mistakes. You're giving the ball to different guys, running back wise and things like that. But defensively, this is a veteran group. They should know how to tackle.
They are without Rajon Walker today, not available for Kennedy, but he's in the secondary. He's not usually near the line of scrimmage. So that is a notable loss for Kennedy today without him. As Zach wants the deep ball for Marshall, and it's intercepted. The 3rd interception now of the year for Jaden Reed. As he comes up big again, one of our key players to watch for Minneapolis Southwest, making an impact in our first turnover of the game.
Good job high pointing the ball and placing it. These are one of those situations we talked about that you cannot have if you're Kennedy, now Southwest, with all the energy. Kennedy going 3-by-1, meaning they have trips to the right side, and they had a one-on-one on the backside. Underthrown ball, didn't give the receiver a chance. It's an interception.
So the Laker offense right back on the field. Flaskamp could go over 100 with this run. He's at 97. He's going to go backward this time as he's wrapped up for a loss of almost 5 yards. Lavelle Miller was there for Kennedy.
Lavelle Miller playing the outside linebacker position. He struggled that first week overplaying and over pursuing on the outside, and they wanted him to start making plays. It's one thing to contain, but then if you can make the play, go make the play, and he did a really good job that time. Actually, he's playing in safety position, correct?
Yeah, he's in for where normally Rajon Walker would be. So here's 2nd and 14. Engen to throw, and he squeezes it into coverage and caught at the 46-yard line. That's Charlie Boucher, the tight end, for a pretty good pickup for Southwest of 11 yards, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 4.
Preston Engen doing what we call a 60s protection, coming outside on a jet, running outside, going downhill, seeing the receiver, throwing him to the spot. It potentially could have been an interception, but a completion for Southwest.
So the end of the first quarter, and pretty much everything went right for Minneapolis Southwest. They forced 2 3-and-outs, grabbed a turnover on defense, and have scored on their first 2 possessions as they lead this one here this afternoon 14-0. Glad you're with us on BEC-TV as we bring you the first, well, as we know it, first ever football game at Kennedy High School on this field turf, game being moved from Bloomington Stadium because of the snow we had earlier in the week. Alongside our crew and DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers with you. Our crew literally staying here all night to make this broadcast happen. Hope you are appreciating that out there, watching this live on our Facebook feed or live on BEC-TV. If you're watching live on Facebook, if you wouldn't mind giving our channel a like or dropping a comment below, tell us who you're rooting for, where you're watching from. Our crew would definitely appreciate it with all the hours they put in to make this happen. We did not know till about 24 hours ago, DJ, we would be playing this game here.
Yeah, a lot of work being put in to get this thing going. You gotta give credit to the crew and John Anderson over at Bloomington Kennedy, the athletic director, be able to put this together in such short notice?
So Southwest to start the second quarter. 3rd down and 4, a chance here for Kennedy to get off the field, force a punt.
This is a much-needed defensive series.
Flaskamp, stutter step to his right, broke another tackle, and he's still going. 1st down and much more as he bulldozes his way inside the 30. Going to be marked down at the 29-yard line, gain of 26.
Once again, Kennedy in position to make the tackle, but cannot bring Flaskamp down. He is so strong, upper body, lower body. He's had enough carries. They do the flash fake here, going right up the middle. Quick feet. You're right there behind the line of scrimmage to make the play. Just cannot get him down on the ground as those wheels keep on churning.
8 carries, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns already for Flaskamp. Here's the end around to, there's a fumble though. Kennedy jumps on it for the turnover, a Marion Hanspard. After Jaden Reed fumbled the football, Kennedy creates a turnover of their own.
That's what you need, a little energy boost. Kennedy in position to make all these plays, just haven't been able to do it so far. Got the stretch play on the outside. Ball pops out. It's a fumble picked up. Jesse Falk with the hit there. Kennedy gets the ball, 1st down.
Much needed for Kennedy. So can their offense get going? Not yet. It's going to be a false start, it appears. It's an illegal substitution for Kennedy. A correction, that's on Southwest, excuse me. It's one of our detriments of no referee, Mike. So the illegal sub on Minneapolis Southwest. So 1st and 5 for Kennedy.
If you're Kennedy, just try to find something that gets you going forward. Some type of run. You got Deion Barber, you got Deion Sherwood.
And instead it's Sade Alasani, the sophomore, stacked up for no gain at the 30.
That's a young run there. He had a back cut. If we can get a replay. He had a back cut. You'll see it quick. You see that hole right there open up, and he goes right into the defense. All he has to do is put his feet in the ground and go north-south. He could still be running. That's just a young guy not ready to run the ball yet.
It's like you've coached this game before or something, DJ.
A little bit.
That was well spotted. 2nd down, they go back to him. This time, twist forward to the 33, so that'll set up a 3rd and 2 for Kennedy.
And that's a nice north-south run there, you know. Just getting up the field, putting your foot in the ground, getting yards.
Yeah, and sometimes you're so concerned about where that a play is supposed to go, you forget about maybe there's a cutback lane there. That time does a nice job falling forward for positive yards.
I like how Kennedy's offensive line is pushing back here.
Big 3rd down for Kennedy. Needs a 1st down here. Zesh running out of time and options and just has to throw it away as he stretched that out as long as he could, but just nothing was available on that side of the field as it's going to be 4th down.
3rd and 2, if you're Zach, you got to think, I just want to get the 1st down. So if I'm looking downfield, I'm saying, all right, I'm going to work my eyes down deep, but I'm really trying to get this ball in the short intermediate game. If that doesn't come open quick, I'm throwing the ball away. You don't want to make a mistake by fumbling the ball or taking a sack or throwing an interception. So if my short reads don't come open, I'm throwing the ball away immediately.
So Martin to punt for the 3rd time. And he gets this one away. This is an excellent punt by Martin.
Got to field it.
As it takes a bounce. Picked up on the run by Reed. Gets out of a tackle by Marquez Monroe. And it's a nice return to the 25-yard line. But that was a heck of a punt from Christopher Martin. Flipping the field for Kennedy.
I like what Kennedy did on offense there. You know, you move the ball, you get close to a 1st down. You would like to see the 1st down. Then you punt the ball and you get good. You got the ball on the other side of 50. It's going to be important for Kennedy to be disciplined here. Break yourself down, be physical, get off the blocks, make tackles, get guys down on the ground. You don't have to stop one person right now. You don't have to stop Nick Flashcamp. Make them have to get the ball in the other players' hands.
By far the worst starting field position for Southwest at their own 25-yard line. Shotgun snap, Engen, little bubble screen. Pass was behind Reed, going in the wrong direction, and Kennedy tackles him for a loss of a yard.
I don't know if Southwest is trying to work on some stuff for next week, but you potentially could go up 21 points and almost put the nail in the coffin early, and you're giving Kennedy a chance. You got number 7 back there in the backfield, and it's working. You don't want to play around with a team that's doing much of the same things that you are, trying to figure yourself out. You already know if you turn the ball over, you're going to hurt yourself. If I'm Southwest, I continue to give the ball to number 7.
2nd and 11. Engen again to throw. Floats it down the sideline, and this time Reed can't hang on. Give Zaire Marshall credit, DJ. He may not have played that ball well initially, but he recovered and looked like he punched it out at the last moment.
Yeah, I don't know if it was man press there, but the ball was in the air with the possibility to make a play on it. Jaden Reed letting the ball get into his body, and then Marshall knocked it out. Great play by the defensive back.
Marshall got turned around but did not give up on it.
And these are the plays that you don't want if you're Southwest. You do not want the 3rd and long, 3rd and 16, 3rd and 15 type of plays. Now you have to pass the ball. Kennedy has athletes back there. You've done an outstanding job of dominating up front, and Southwest went away from it this series.
To throw Engen, another corner route now. This is going to be broken up, punched away by Lavelle Miller. As it's incomplete, 4th down coming, and you're exactly right, DJ. I'm not sure that a bubble screen and 2 deep shots is what Southwest had in mind as they've run for over 120 yards in this game.
And Kennedy knew that if they had a chance to get them in the 3rd and long, that they were going to get a chance to make plays. The quarterback didn't have his hands on the laces there, saw a wide open guy, or a one-on-one opportunity. I like the read. He's got to throw a better ball. He hangs it in the air too long. They know this.
I think both of those passes on 2nd and 3rd down hung up a bit too much for my liking anyway, as we get a false start here on Southwest. They're going in the wrong direction. It's their 4th penalty already. Kennedy with just 1 penalty.
I watch a lot of boxing, and in boxing, what you can do is you can let a guy hang around for a while, and then, once they figure you out late in the rounds, they might be able to hit the knockout punch. And you don't want that if you're Southwest. You don't want to make a mistake and get knocked out.
Here's their first punt. It's a low punt. Kennedy's going to have very good field position as Marshall just lets the last couple of yards roll out on that punt. And they'll start in plus territory. So Kennedy flips the field with that punt by Christopher Martin, and the defense takes advantage of it. And now Kennedy's set up in plus territory.
So your offensive line last series found out that they could play with this group. They found out something that they could do. Now Kennedy has the momentum. You see him high-fiving in the huddle like, let's go. All it takes is one score. All it takes is one play.
Dion Barber, the big man in the backfield. Zesh hands it to him, and Barber lowers the shoulder to the 42-yard line, moving the pile for a gain of 5.
Like we said in the first series, all you need is some straightforward runs, and you need that offensive line to get a hat on the hat. Dion Barber grabbing the ball in the mesh. You can see some offensive linemen pushing up front. He's another tough guy to get down on the ground. This is going to be whoever controls the game up front is going to win this game.
Barber 220. 2nd and 5. Fake the handoff. Zesh with that RPO. He had Marshall in the flat, and he's going to be brought down for a loss all the way back at their own 49.
I don't know if he's done that a lot. That looked like a very awkward mesh there as he got the ball. You want to keep your feet set, ride it through, understand your coaching. You know what read you need to make, and then as soon as you pull it, he had the wide receiver right there. You're just throwing the ball really quick. I don't know if he's done that much, though.
He just looked a little hesitant.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't want to try to float it over because there was a Laker player in that throwing path, but probably could have floated it over his head for a completion. But once he didn't throw it right away, his window of opportunity was squeezed out of that play. So now 3rd down and long for Kennedy. They need 11.
This could be a four down territory too. I don't think you have to go for the gusto here.
You get maybe half of it. You could maybe go for it on 4th.
And that's going to hurt you.
Delay of game on Kennedy. So again, what started promising, now 3rd and 16 after it was 2nd and 5.
3rd down and 19 to go.
Sash back to throw, looking, has plenty of time. Now floats it, he's got a man wide open, it's Dojin, and he lumbers forward to the 43-yard line. First catch for Luke Dojin, and now decision time for Kennedy because they picked up a good chunk. It's going to be about 3rd down and 3.
Zach with his eyes downfield. 2 drag plays, which means 2 receivers coming underneath the defense. He finds him late. Now it's 4th and 6.
Will be 4th and 6, so Martin to punt.
I'd watch it for a fake here.
Lined up in a little bit of a different formation than they normally have been. Martin will punt it away. Fair catch, no fair catch. It's being returned by Reed, and he's spun down by Marquez Monroe at the 25. Ball came out, but it looked like it was after he was down. So 23-yard punt, or the 23-yard net after a return of 7 on a 30-yard punt for Christopher Martin, and
that was a pretty good punt.
Had a lot of hang time. I'm surprised he was able to return that.
I didn't see with all the punts that he's done, I didn't think he'd be able to put the hang time on there enough to be able to pinpoint him so short into the field position. But that was really good. When you got a guy like that you can keep him, he comes in handy.
After kind of a discombobulated series the last time, we'll see if the Lakers get back to the ground game here. Engen will hand it off to Flaskamp as he finds room up the middle across the 30 to the 31, gain of 6. Now he's at 124 yards rushing.
This is straight ISO. He's just going to go right up the field, gain as many yards as he can. This Southwest offensive line has done a really good job getting their hands on people, fighting, trying to get up to the linebackers. Deion Barber has to make himself known here.
Flaskamp on a little misdirection. Breaks another tackle, Flaskamp, and spun down by Miller at the 46-yard line. Another chunk play of 15.
Yes, this is what happens when you get caught up in the mud, as I like to say. You got to be patient if your linebacker, number 34, Deion Barber, gets his eyes stuck and he gets caught up in the mesh. Look at those pursuit lanes. People are not in gaps. Everybody's following each other's lead. That's bad. You need one person in each gap. When you got too many people in one gap, the running back can then get upfield.
Keep it on the ground with Brown. There's a nice tackle in. Filling the gap was Leighton Gabler, the senior, 5'10", 160, using all of that weight to take down Brown.
You still like to see him kind of tackle lower here, but I love the aggression. A bit of a gator roll, throw him down on the ground. Kennedy's got to get some penetration. They got to get into the line. They got to push first. They got to get their hands up and get Southwest hands off of them.
2nd and 8. Flaskamp, that time stuffed for a very minimal gain. Jesse Falk in on the tackle.
Very good job. That's exactly what we were looking for. Getting inside, getting the blocker's hands off of you, freeing yourself to make a tackle. Deion Barber coming downhill, making the play.
Big 3rd down. 3rd and 7 could be a passing situation.
We saw the play action pass before out of this formation. Going to Brown.
This time they toss to Flaskamp near side of the field, and he's going to fall forward. It looks like he's got enough. We'll see where they mark him.
Interesting play call there, running the toss to the short side of the field. Wait and see if we get a...
Kennedy doesn't seem too pleased with the spot. And it is short, but now sets up pretty much automatic decision here on 4th down and a yard to go for it.
Kennedy has been very aggressive over the past 3 plays. You might hear, Southwest go on 2, or what we like to call a dummy call where nobody moves. Try to draw them off sides.
No snap it on 4th and short. Flaskamp with that 2nd effort. We'll see. Kennedy also thinks Flaskamp fumbled.
The spot looked like it was in Kennedy's favor.
There we go. It is Eagle ball. Fumble or not, doesn't matter. As the Eagle D comes up with a huge stop on 4th and a yard.
The straight ISO. Look at Kennedy getting inside, fighting, getting the hands off, being physical, bringing the fight to Southwest.
Jackson Reichenberger Cooper was in on that play. Not only moved his guy, but in the process of being engaged, made the tackle.
They need a little bit of that energy on the offensive end. Some of these guys play offense as well. Get your hands on the Southwest and drive your hands and go forward. We got empty play here.
5 wide for Kennedy, showing a different look here on this possession. Just 2.5 minutes left in the half. Under pressure and sacked is Zesh. Back at his own 34. Well, they'll spot it at the 37, 38-yard line with forward progress. So that empty backfield did not work as he was under duress.
If you look at his eyes, I think he was going one place, one way. You got to be able to look the other way, and if your pre-snap is correct, it's not going to change. So what I teach quarterbacks is at least look to the other side and trust your instincts on your play side. That way you're not just staring the guy down. He knew he was going to try to throw to one person.
Time a factor, but now Kennedy pushed back on a 2nd and 17, so they don't want to give Southwest too much time. Fake the handoff, Zesh. On the run pass option, it's Marshall. Marshall turns upfield. Zaire Marshall ushered out of bounds. Longest play from scrimmage for Kennedy. We'll see where they mark him out. It's a Kennedy 1st down, and now with the clock stops, Kennedy can be much more aggressive on offense.
This is the RPO play that they went back to, and all you got to do is throw the ball to number 3, and he's fast enough to get upfield and very smart to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
From the 40-yard line, Zesh, another RPO to Marshall again. Makes a man miss, and out of bounds after a short gain.
Seems like they want to get Zaire the ball. They run the same play close to the hash. It's kind of tough to run that play there. But he's doing a really good job of being skinny, just staying there. Zach makes the right read. It's just like a run play. It's just like your zone read. You just throw the ball to number 3.
2nd and 9 for Kennedy with plenty of timeouts available. They'll run the ball with Barber, and that's not going to gain anything. And Kedrick Williams takes a timeout with 1:18 left. Kennedy facing a 3rd and 8. here late in the first half alongside our crew and DJ Moffitt. Josh Powers with you. Glad you're tuning in. This is live on a Saturday afternoon here at Kennedy High School. This isn't a scrimmage. This is an actual game being played on the field turf due to bad weather. It was a tough start for Kennedy. Southwest scored on its first 2 possessions, but Kennedy's defense has tightened, and now the offense looking to put points on the board before halftime.
Got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone before half. A minute 18 left. Did a really good job in the second quarter. If you're Kennedy Eagles, you stopped Flash Camp from being able to get into the end zone. You turned them over defensively, and now you got the field position. Now you just got to convert.
Likely 4-down territory, you would think, especially if you can pick up some of this 10 yards.
Here's just what you called. You got number 23 in the backfield here.
This is Marquez Monroe from the Wildcat. Marquez, they do a little end around. Marshall picks up a block from Monroe. Turns upfield. He stays in bounds, and also a flag down in an area where you would normally expect holding.
Yeah, possible holding there. But I like the play call.
And it is holding on Kennedy, so
The foul is a hold against the Eagles.
had picked up 4 there on that 3rd down. Could have possibly thought about going for it. We'll see if Southwest declines this. They could. Or do you just push him back with the time and the yardage, get him a little bit further away from the end zone?
The way this game is going, I think that might be your best bet. Just to stay positive. And
it is on Marquez Monroe. So you got a guy not normally used to offense, let alone blocking. You know, he might be a running back or a quarterback at some point. And that's where that trick play hurts you a little bit, as he gets called for the hold. So Southwest accepts the penalty, and now 3rd and long for Kennedy.
I still would say that it's about a 4-down territory still, even though they went backward a little bit.
Southwest does have 2 timeouts available. I think if you want to go for it on 4th down, you're going to need to pick up some of this.
Yeah.
Maybe get at least inside of 4th and 10. We'll see. Empty backfield once again for Zesh.
Somebody's got to get on the line of scrimmage. He's on.
Zesh over the middle, man wide open, Hanspard.
Got to call timeout.
And he's down at the 37-yard line. It'll be 4th down, but now Kennedy in a spot where they can go for it.
At the 37-yard line.
Hurting yourself even if you do get the 1st down.
Here's Zesh looking deep. And now floats it out there. Hanspard, one-handed catch. And he's out of bounds. So Kennedy converts on 4th down and stops the clock with 18 seconds left. They're inside the red zone. They can have a couple of shots toward the end zone now. What a catch by Hanspard.
That looked like his brother Nate. I don't know if anybody remember his brother Nate.
The ball is spotted at the 18-yard line of the Lakers.
He had the big touchdown catch a week ago against Richfield in Marion, and right there on both 3rd and 4th down, he comes up huge. That was a gain of 18 yards to set up Kennedy here with 18 seconds left, still 2 timeouts.
Not calling that timeout might have hurt him.
It's going to be hard to even use both of them right now at this point. Here's Zesh, and it should have been intercepted, as it looked like he did not see Keandre Brown, and he might have been running for a while.
You're in a space that it's way more condensed. You got defensive players in smaller spaces. It's not going to be as easy to just throw the ball where you would in the middle of the field. You don't have that much space. So you might want to cut Zach's reads down, give him maybe 1 or 2 reads to throw to.
It'll be harder to get a one-on-one matchup here just because Southwest expecting pass.
They might be looking for it at the top. You got Chris Martin at the top.
See if they can get that matchup. Zesh fumbles it, now picks it up. Needs to throw it away, instead sacked. Kennedy's going to be forced to use a timeout with 7 seconds left.
on the fumbled snap.
So Zesh, a little self-inflicted wound there.
The Eagles take their second timeout.
Fumbled the snap and then also didn't throw it away maybe as he should have been.
Zesh just doesn't feel comfortable right now in the pocket to be able to step up and make a throw. All of his throws are outside of the pocket, under duress, running around. His ball security isn't that great right now. It looked like it bounced off the running back who was coming across in protection. But still, if you're the quarterback, you got to do a better job of protecting that ball. That's on you. That's your job as the quarterback. You have to protect. You cannot make mistakes, especially in these situations where you could be putting points on the board. Do they have a kicker right now that can make this kick?
I was just asking from here, especially with that sack now, you're looking at a field goal of over 40 yards. So win not much of a factor today, but that's still a tall ask. And I think if you're Kennedy right now, the best you can really do with just, now they put a couple seconds, it looks like, back on the clock. I guess you could maybe run a quick out and get a few more yardage, or really just forced to chuck it into the end zone at this point.
Now, if you look at the spacing, looks like they're going empty here, quads to one side. A lot of these throws are difficult to make, so look for them to go one-on-one to Marshall.
It's 3rd and 17, floating over the middle. Hertzbard had a step. It's incomplete with 5 seconds left, so Kennedy will get one more chance. That was a difficult throw to make, but I like the call there, is that space in the middle of the field opened up a bit.
Yeah, they ran what's called a divide route, where Amarion's just going to divide the goalposts or the safeties, and he's just going to run to a spot in the middle. So it was a very good read by Zesh.
Take their final timeout.
They had a little bit of a window here to drop that in. You could see it would have been a difficult throw, but Kennedy will get one more chance at it. They use their final timeout. Why not? With 5 seconds left, it's 4th down anyway. Not going to be able to run 2 plays unless they get a free one with a penalty. This is important if Kennedy can somehow get on the board here. Southwest has the option to receive the second half kickoff.
Even if they don't score here, I'm trying to think, did Kennedy find something that they did well in the first half? Did they find something that they want to grow on or they want to continue to do?
For me, it's that RPO seems available.
Yeah.
We had the one play where Zesh maybe decided not to float it over a Southwest player, but the other 2 were complete, and that could be something they could build off of. You could have various options off of that RPO, including maybe one where Marshall ends up going deep at some point.
Yeah, and I think that it opens up so much other pieces to the puzzle. Amarion Hansbard now can come underneath. They threw the ball to the tight end at one point. And this opens so many other guys up off of one base play that's working for you.
You could even run out of that formation with a running back if you'd like. You could make it look like an RPO. We can maybe talk more about that second half. Here's the final play we think of the first half. Kennedy trying to get it to the end zone. Zesh floats it in a pretty good spot, and it was Martin who had a chance at it, but it was batted away by Southwest. So the first half comes to an end as it's the Minneapolis Southwest Lakers behind that strong running game, leading Kennedy 14-0. Aside of that shaky start, DJ, the first 6 minutes where Southwest scored twice, Kennedy played it even the rest of the half.
Yeah, Kennedy won the second round. They just didn't put any points on the board, and if you stay disciplined and you do a better job of bringing down number 7 and getting down on the ground and tackling, you still have a shot. You are in this game if you're Kennedy Eagles. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the second half.
They are in a 14-point hole, though, to Minneapolis Southwest. It is halftime. 10-minute intermission for those of you watching live, so stick around. Second half coming up from Kennedy High School here, this unprecedented Saturday matinee here in 2020. What else is new in this crazy year? Our first ever broadcast at Kennedy High School. It will continue. 14-0 Southwest leads at the half here on BEC-TV. Back at Kennedy High School as the Eagles hosting Minneapolis Southwest Week 3 of the 2020 season alongside our crew and alongside DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers with you. Our first ever football broadcast here at Kennedy High School. We believe anyway. We've done a number of lacrosse games here, but never football. This game moved here yesterday because of snow on the Bloomington Stadium grass. That was difficult to remove. That field is now extremely wet as well and basically unplayable. So we moved to the much more resilient field turf here at Kennedy High School. Our crew putting in countless hours in the last 24 hours. They were basically here all night getting prepared. So we're glad to be bringing you this game. We're hoping that you enjoy that out there. If you're a Kennedy fan, you probably didn't enjoy the first 6 minutes. Southwest scored twice on their first two possessions. Since then, though, DJ, Kennedy's made some adjustments defensively. They got a turnover. They started to move the ball a bit in the second quarter. Just tough. They're in a 14-0 hole right now.
Yeah, you like what they did in the second quarter. Much of the first quarter, all Southwest, they did a very good job of being physical up front and running the ball with Nick Flashkamp with 2 touchdowns. He's probably well over what does he have right now?
I've got him unofficially 13 carries, 146 yards with the 2 touchdowns, but 118 of those came in the first quarter. So Kennedy did a much better job. And they also possessed the ball a bit more in the second quarter offensively, so that limited Southwest touches. This game feels like it's in the reach, the realm of Kennedy, but they're going to, because they're in a 2-touchdown hole, DJ, they're going to have to be basically error-free here in the second half.
Yeah, and that's kind of tough to do when you know that they're struggling so much up front and they're trying to gain an identity. Running the football, just I don't know if they had much success, but they did have some success throwing the ball. We liked what they did in the RPO game. They could still, it's their misdirection. It's their version of you have to pick and choose, or we're going to take what the defense gives us, and they don't end up making too much of a mistake in that area. Throwing the ball downfield is going to be difficult. They're not really running the ball well, tackle to tackle, so that's something that they're going to have to look to get to continue to move the ball.
Yeah, just 7 carries for 6 yards, and that doesn't include sacks. So the sacks that Kennedy took, they would be negative in rushing with those sacks taken into account. It was very difficult. Give that defense for Minneapolis Southwest credit. But on the bright side, you mentioned Zach Zesh. I've got him for 7 out of 11 for 47 yards for Kennedy. So they were able to move the ball a little bit that way. You have to figure at some point they're going to need the ground game to get involved at least to complement what they want to do passing, because just lining up and trying to pass every down is not something that Kennedy wants to do. They want to be much more balanced.
Yeah, they have to be balanced because you don't have the team that is very physical on the offensive line, but you do have athletes, so you do want to get the ball in their hands. I like what they did the very first week when they had so many people, different people touching the ball, and they did it in a lot of different ways. They switched up their formations. They would go 11 personnel, they would go 10 personnel, then they'd go 12 personnel. They'd have so many different personnels out there that you really couldn't tell who had the ball, or you couldn't really have a tell on who was going to get the ball in that situation. So if they try some different things, they have some different formations, they may be able to catch Southwest and get a touchdown on the board.
Quick break. We'll be back for the third quarter after this on BEC-TV. Back for the second half here at Kennedy High School. Kennedy set to kick off to start this second half, trailing Minneapolis Southwest 14-0 alongside our crew and DJ Moffitt. Josh Powers with you. Kennedy was in an early hole as Southwest scored on their first 2 possessions, but Kennedy shored up the defense a bit, got things going a little bit on offense, couldn't quite punch it in at the end of that second quarter, as the Eagles will now kick to start the second half. Kennedy trying for its first win of the season, coming in at 0-2. Southwest 1-1 after defeating Columbia Heights in week 1 and then dropping that a game last week to St. Croix Lutheran. Both teams with one turnover. Penalties in the first half. Southwest was 4 for 20. Kennedy 3 for 15. The big story is Nick Flaskamp. 13 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's basically been the entire offense for Southwest. They've only thrown for 7 yards on 3 completions. So Kennedy to kick to start the second half as it is underway from Kennedy High School. And the return by Jaden Reed out to the 33-yard line as we have a Eagle player shaken up. Looks like that's Antonio Ortega Escobar, number 9. Our crew putting in countless hours since we learned about 24 hours ago that this game was being moved to Kennedy High School because of the elements, the snow, and what that did to the Bloomington Stadium field. Even if the snow would be able to be removed, that field basically rendered a complete sloppy mess. And so the field turf much less affected by the wetness and looks in pretty good position. We haven't pretty good shape. We haven't seen really anybody slip and fall here in this game. As we've seen over the years at Bloomington Stadium, it can become a muddy nightmare at times.
Yeah, very hard to get your footing when that field is wet. So I'm glad we could be able to play this field here where the kids can be safe and have fun.
And I'm glad our crew was able to adjust. So if you're watching live on our Facebook feed, please give our channel a like, drop a comment below, let us know who you're cheering from, where you're watching from. Our crew would appreciate it as they were here literally all night getting ready for this game. And a good positive sign there for Ortega Escobar as he's able to walk off under his own power. So first possession for Minneapolis Southwest. It was Nick Flaskamp, basically the entire offense for Southwest, and we mentioned him as the key player to watch, our keys to the game, including tackling. That was a bit of an issue on those first 2 drives for Kennedy.
Kennedy was tackling really high. They weren't doing a very good job of breaking themselves down when they were getting penetration, but in the second quarter, they did a much better job.
We'll see what the third quarter brings as Flaskamp gets the first carry and goes basically nowhere. Maybe a yard and a half out to the 36.
Now you're starting to see Jesse Falk and Lavelle Miller and Dion Barber get inside. As you see, you don't see anybody in the same gap, and they do their job and they get Flaskamp on the ground. Got to be ready for a play-action pass if you're Kennedy.
Preston Engen was just 3 out of 5 in the first half for 7 yards.
Or the sweep play. There goes.
Toss to Flaskamp right side, cuts it back, and then tackled at the 40 by Barber. Flaskamp falls to the 41. It'll be 3rd and 3.
So those have been the 3 plays that we've seen. ISO, sweep. And we've also seen the fullback dive. As you see, they try to get to the outside. Very good pursuit if you're Kennedy, turning it inside, getting Flaskamp on the ground. You got to stop the dive play, the ISO. They have also ran a counter play. It's all formational. If you look at the formations, you might be able to catch a tail if you're watching at home.
3rd and 3. Kennedy creeps up to the line of scrimmage. As they bring the blitz, floated over the middle, and it is incomplete. It was almost intercepted by Lavelle Miller, who made a great read on that play.
Lavelle Miller in the backfield playing safety. Players just got to make plays. As you see the play action, quarterback just lost it up in the air. Good play by Lavelle Miller.
He's in place of Rajon Walker at safety. Miller normally a defensive back. Pretty much played that textbook to break that up. 4th down for the Lakers as the punt is away. Second punt of the game by Minneapolis Southwest. And the return by Marquez Monroe as he turns it upfield. Pretty good field position for Kennedy at the 44. So a nice start to the second half as the defense gives the offense a nice 3 and out.
We talked about Kennedy trying to find something that works well for them. In the second quarter, it was the RPO game, getting Zach outside, away from the offensive line, where his field of play and his vision can expand. We would like to see that a little bit more in the second half. Marquez Monroe out there on offense as well.
It's a guy we talked to, Kedrick Williams, on Inside Kennedy Football on Tuesday. He mentioned we're going to see a little bit more of him on offense. There's the RPO to Marquez. He's got some running room across midfield.
Looks just short.
Just short of the first down marker, but it is a nice, healthy pickup of 9 yards on first down.
But
So
coaching is not very complicated when you got athletes like this. Interesting that they run it to the short side of the field here, but if you put the ball in one of your players' hands, they will be able to do the job for you.
Marquez Monroe makes coaches look good. Get the ball in his hands. Second and short, now the playbook wide open for Kennedy.
Got Marshall at running back here.
Zaire Marshall first down as he slides inside the 45-44-yard line. Pickup up 5 as the Eagles now in Laker territory.
So now you see Kennedy switching things up, pulling guard. Zaire Marshall, transfer from Washburn, also played a little bit of running back, so it's just putting players in positions.
With him in the backfield, and now that's why you see Monroe in that receiver role. Kedrick Williams urging Kennedy to hustle here. They were called for 2 delay of games in the first half. End around Marquez.
Good block by Marshall.
Stretch him out wide. Monroe was able to get a couple. They mark him out at the 41-yard line.
But you see the tempo picking up for Kennedy. You also see that Kennedy has used various different formations to throw Southwest off. They're not just lining up the same way. As we see, we might get an injury or a cramp there.
That looks like a cramp. I'm not a doctor, but I would be surprised if it's anything else.
I've
been there.
Yeah. If you had one before, you know what it looks like and feels like.
So 2nd and 8 for Kennedy. Handoff Marshall. Had to try to slip through a double team and almost made it through.
I love his energy. I love it, especially in the backfield, moving him around. He has the ability to put his foot in the ground and cut up field, just straight athletics.
Important call here, 3rd and 5 for Kennedy. Given the time and score, you would have to think 4 down territory here. Eagles would love to get one of these touchdowns back here on this opening drive of the half. Zesh, handoff Marshall, finds some room. He's got a first down. Or very close to it, we'll see. And they're moving him forward. It is an Eagle first down, a key pickup there of 5 yards for Zaire Marshall.
I just love his energy, a burst of energy, a senior that just you put me anywhere, coach. Just put me in the game, give me a shot. You saw earlier in the game they were using him at wideout, and now they have him at running back. Be interesting to see where else they could put the kid.
Ortega Escobar back in as wide receiver. He was banged up, remember, on that opening kickoff, so that's good to see for Kennedy. Fresh set for the Eagles. And it'll be 1st and 15, it appears. Actually, is this a sideline warning on Southwest? You can kind of, if you maybe can hear, at least we can hear it faintly in our headsets inside of Kennedy High School. It looked like an unsportsmanlike conduct on Southwest. That is a penalty that's going to give Kennedy the ball all the way inside the 20.
And this is where you want to be able to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. If you're Kennedy, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and try one in the end zone here.
Marshall. Ankle tackled by Brown, but he stretches out toward the 15-yard line. So a positive pickup of 4 there on first down for Zaire Marshall. See if we can see where that personal foul was. Must have been something someone said, obviously.
Very interesting that Southwest is still lining up the way they are. They're afraid of the.
Look at Marshall with a first down and more. Goal to go for Kennedy. At the 5-yard line, they found something in the running game with Zaire Marshall here in the second half.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why the RPO is opening up lanes inside. As you can see, Flash Camp bounces out to the slot. And so they just make the read, and now they're just running the ball inside. The RPO is starting to work.
Can Kennedy punch it in? Goal to go.
Fake
the handoff, Zesh on the RPO. And he lost the football. What are they going to rule here? It is Southwest ball. A disastrous turnover for Kennedy.
That is so unfortunate. A drive where you are moving the ball, you're being physical. Same play here. You keep it. You just got to get upfield and run the ball and get down on the ground.
Looked like Zesh had room around that corner potentially, and then kind of cut off his.
He veered off,
maybe thinking that he wanted to float a pass out there. My goodness.
That was such an opportunity to put 7 on the board and get back into this game. That is very unfortunate, but very fortunate for Southwest.
Lakers backed up. Flash Camp, first down. Here's where Kennedy. Sometimes these players playing two ways hurt you here because these guys were just on the field on offense. Now they have to quickly turn around and play D.
This is what you weren't. This is what you weren't. You was not seeing this in the first half. Guys just filling holes, filling gaps, and making plays. People were dancing around trying to find ways to run around and make a play. Just do your job, get in the gap, come downhill, make the play.
2nd and 6. Toss to Flash Camp. Broke a tackle, lowers the shoulder, and drives for a first down. There's the power of Nick Flaskamp. You don't look at him, he doesn't look like the biggest guy. They list him 5'10", 205, but he's got some strength.
Oh, I went down to the field. He does look like the biggest guy on the field. I went down there and stood next to him. He is huge.
Well, we were at Bloomington Stadium last week for the Jefferson game, and the opposing team, Apple Valley, they had a 6'11" offensive lineman and a 6'7" guy. They were both over 300. So maybe that's skewing my vision and judgment a little bit.
Yeah, the TV, the HD is not helping you out here. I'm telling you, he is a load.
He picked up 14 there for a first down. Back to Flash Camp for more. Running wide, takes it out across the 30 to the 32. Correction, it was a 9-yard gain on that last play. This one goes for 11 and a first down.
This is where you just give the ball to your best guy and you let him work. He will wear you down eventually. If he stays healthy and he gets the ball in the end zone again, he can potentially put the nail in the coffin. It will definitely be too hard to come back with 21 points on the board late in the third.
Yeah, that possession for Kennedy took almost half the quarter. And now Southwest eating clock. More from Flash Camp. Past midfield. And dragged down at the 41-yard line.
He's outrunning the camera. No, you guys are doing a great job. I'm just joking.
The cameras are even different today, DJ. We're using robotic cameras being operated from inside Kennedy High School as opposed to the normal human element. So everything pretty much a first for our broadcast, but we are so glad to bring it to you here live from Kennedy High School as we have a 1st and 10 now for Southwest in Kennedy territory for the first time in a while. Brown on the handoff. This time goes nowhere. Kennedy stacks him up for a loss of 1.
You just have to stop number 7. Nobody else is gaining yards. The quarterback is almost throwing interceptions. If you can get number 7 down on the ground and get them in a 3rd and long situation, you have an opportunity to get the ball. Then you cannot turn the ball over. Doing an outstanding job of running the ball in that last series if you're Kennedy. You got to stop number 7. You got to stop number 7.
Flash Camp right now, 16 carries, 201 yards unofficially. 2nd down and 12.
The Lakers take
And
their
a
first
Minneapolis
timeout of
Southwest
the second half.
timeout, their first timeout of the second half, but it's a third quarter that's already down to just 3:27 left. Kennedy missing a golden opportunity
Score updates
on their
for
opening drive.
athletes. The girls volleyball team
We do want to wish the boys soccer team for Kennedy good luck this afternoon. They are in the Section 3 championship against Worthington, trying to end the season, and we're getting a score update at 0-0 at half. Kennedy pulled off the upset down in Albert Lee on Tuesday, defeating second-seeded Mankato West in a revenge game for them. Mankato West defeated Kennedy last year in the section championship. Kennedy trying to win that section title this year. Again, scoreless at the half against Worthington. Want to wish them the best of luck. Hopefully they can find that back of the net one time in the second half and walk off a section winner. I know it would mean a lot to the team. Got to know that team a little bit more after covering them extensively this fall. A very fun team to watch that plays together, so hopefully they can get that done in the second half.
Bring it home, Eagles.
Kennedy trying to come back here. 2nd and 12 for Minneapolis Southwest. Engen wants to throw, has time, floats it near side, and it is intercepted by Kennedy. Zaire Marshall, he wants a return. How far can he go, Zaire? Caught down by Brown, but Zaire Marshall with his second pick of the game. Kennedy gets the ball back.
I was just going to say, I don't even know why Kennedy has safeties right now. They could just bring pressure and go one-on-one on the outside. Zaire Marshall does a very good job of keeping himself in the play. He knows he gets a shot. As you see, the play-action pass, he lofts it up. Zaire comes down with it and keeps his feet running, gains a little bit of extra yards.
Picked up almost 20 yards on the return. That was certainly important. So the Eagles now with the ball back, and Dion Barber charging forward.
I think that Southwest has a lot of guys playing both ways as well. You might be able to catch them winded. This is where tempo could come in handy.
7-yard gain for Barber. They are starting to wear down that D-line, it appears a little bit. Another look at the pick from Zaire Marshall. What a game he's having for Kennedy. Back to Barber. First down to move into the second level, Dion. To the 48-yard line.
He's much the same. He's got the same body type.
Boy, Kennedy moving the ball on the ground. You just wish they would have punched it in on the previous drive. Still time, though, for the Eagles.
He's got the same body type as Flash Camp and doing much of the same things. Running very strong.
Pickup of 12 there for Dion. Give it to him for a third straight time. Bounces it to the edge, Dion Barber. To the 42-yard line of Minneapolis Southwest, another first down.
Minneapolis Southwest already used the timeout. Might be, as we see the pulling tackle coming across on a wrap play. Dion Barber is doing his job right now.
Showing you some quick feet, too. Bouncing it to the outside for extra yardage. Back to Dion. He lost the football, and it's picked up by the Lakers. It's going to be a scoop and score for Southwest.
Flash Camp.
Who else? Nick Flaskamp.
There was a fumble on the play, return for a touchdown.
Another turnover for Kennedy. Again, just when things seem to be going their way.
Turnovers are doing you in. Got to wonder if maybe he might have been tired after carrying the ball 4 times in a row. Flash Camp picking the ball up. He's not tired. He don't get tired as he cruises into the end zone for 6.
Wow. The last 2 drives for Kennedy They're moving it down the field until fumbles ending both drives.
Sideline interference.
This touchdown might come off the board
Play
here.
stands.
There's a sideline interference. Now the official just said the result of the play is a touchdown, so it does look like it will stand. Another look at the fumble. It does appear a ball was out.
In for the extra point.
Keandre Brown on that play.
Ramos.
And then the last guy you'd want to see scoop the ball up defensively, if you're Kennedy, is number 7, who jogs into the end zone for the 3rd time today.
Doing it all over the place. Yeah, that was just so disheartening.
Really the story of the year for Kennedy is turnovers at the wrong time.
That's happened multiple times.
We've had 5 penalties on extra points. There's only been 3 extra points attempted in this game.
I think it's the way they set up. They set up in a 2-point, and then they drop down into a 3-point at the same time. And for some reason, it's throwing people off.
Well, I take that back. There's been two of these penalties that have actually been declined that don't go into the stat column, but we have seen so many flags thrown on these extra point attempts for Southwest. And they've had 2 false starts of their own. There's a little bit of a low snap. Not sure if it was a design fake or not, as Maddox bumped out of bounds by Amarian Hanspard. Probably just decided to pick it up and run with the short snap. As you see Nick Flaskamp, what a day for him, over 200 yards on the ground plus that scoop and score.
He's what we call a dude. He's just a dude. I'm pretty sure if coach wanted to line him up at outside linebacker or middle linebacker or right guard, he could play anywhere on the field.
Yep.
And it's seeming like he's enjoying himself out here tonight.
That low snap, I think, there was no receiver out there. That was just Maddox trying to make something out of a bad snap. But still, Southwest enjoys the 3-touchdown lead. As this 3rd quarter, not much time left in it. Kennedy's going to need to move quickly now if they want to get back into it. We talked at halftime, DJ, this game was in the realm of possibility for Kennedy, but we said they needed to play pretty much mistake-free, and they have, except for 2 plays, those 2 fumbles.
And then that's not mistake-free.
Right.
That's making mistakes. And if you're Coach Williams, you're looking at those plays and many other plays over this season, you're saying we're just shooting ourselves in the foot, and we got to grow up.
Kickoff deep. Zaire Marshall, nice cut up field, and he's near midfield. So at least a short field for Kennedy. Zaire Marshall really having a nice game. Some good kickoff returns. We've seen 2 of them. A couple of picks from him as well. See if they give it back to him on the ground. He was so effective on that opening drive.
Yeah, he's a guy you got to get the ball in his hands. I was thinking that last drive as Deion Barber had the ball, about the 2nd carry, I was thinking maybe sub him out.
Go to the well. They went to the well one too many times, maybe.
I was hoping that they would sub him out and get him back in the game after a carry or 2.
And this is going to be an illegal sub as you see Marquez Monroe sprinting off the field. Too many men for Kennedy.
And this happens when you're trying to find out who can do what. You know, if you're Marquez and he's still a young guy, and he's thinking, well, I was just out on offense, but it's not like basketball. It's not like, all right, well, we sub out. You got to understand what personnel. You got to understand what we're trying to get accomplished. If we have a different formation, you know, if you didn't start in that formation, you got to come off the field. Error on the side of caution. It happens when you don't necessarily know who goes where all the time. They're trying to figure it out.
1st and 15. As the handoff goes to number 25, Sadeh Al-Hassani, the sophomore, and he's wrapped up for no gain.
Yeah, he's just got to be an athlete and keep his feet. Not having a very good day today. I think that's his third carry.
Saeed will head off for Marquez Monroe. 2nd and 17 for Kennedy. Actually, a loss of 2 there.
They're subbing a lot of guys in and out, but at this point in time, you don't have the time to really trot to the line of scrimmage. You got to put the pedal to the metal. You got to move a little faster.
Empty backfield for Zesh. In motion, Marquez takes the end around and met immediately. He fumbled on the play, but after he was down, Marquez Monroe. They kind of blew this up in the backfield as he was forced to cut it up quickly.
Yeah, but I got to give credit to the tackle. You do what we call take him where he wants to go. Marquez then has the ability to cut up field, so they did over pursue there.
They just had additional players waiting for him in that running lane.
Right.
And now Kennedy will use its first, actually the end of the third quarter, excuse me. As Kennedy will face a 3rd down and long to start the 4th quarter. So DJ, some really good things for Kennedy in that 3rd quarter offensively, except for the two mistakes, the 2 fumbles.
The mistakes just can't happen. You get the ball, the first one you're inside the 5 with an opportunity to score, and you veer off and fumble the ball. The next one, you're getting across the 50, you having positive plays, you're getting plus 15 yards a carry, and just somehow the ball just pops out. Those are mental plays. Those are mental mistakes. I get that, physically you give the ball up, but at the same time, you have to have the presence of mind to say, no, we're going to punch the ball in the end zone. So we got to grow up if we're Kennedy right now. This is game 3. It's the 4th quarter. You don't have many more chances. You got to grow up.
Talking about not many more chances, only one more home game for Kennedy. It's against Columbia Heights on November 6th. Next week, Kennedy will be at St. Croix Lutheran, and that is a Friday game, at least as of right now. We don't know where that Columbia Heights game is going to be. It could be here back again.
It could be.
Could be at Bloomington Stadium. We have no idea. 3rd down and 17 for Kennedy. Zesh flushed again. Floats it, and it's going to be nearly intercepted. That was broken up nicely by Ortega Escobar, who turned into a defender there. Else that would have been the 4th Kennedy turnover.
Zach going outside, he ends up trying to break the pocket, lofting a play up. Very dangerous throw. Good job by Ortega.
4th down for Kennedy and 17. Southwest in a punt safe here. Good snap to Christopher Martin. Puts a nice move on it. And a little bit of a sideways bounce. That was a dangerous pickup. No need for Reed to do that on the run. He is very fortunate. There's really only one way Southwest can lose this game, and it's by doing something that gives Kennedy a touchdown or 2, and this was a very dangerous pickup.
Right, and I think the Fair caught that and then tried to pick it up.
It'd be one thing if there was nobody around him, but there was, I believe it was Zaire Marshall, and as soon as he picked that up, he had a hand in there trying to swipe it away.
Yeah, you don't want to give the ball back if you're Southwest. Just make the right decisions. You're already in control of the game.
So Flaskamp and company back out there. Should see a healthy dose of number 7 in the 4th quarter as he gets the first handoff of this series out to the 32-yard line. Gain of 5. He's over 200 yards, 206 now for Flaskamp on 17 carries.
We said it. We thought that he would have a career day. Not much like last week. He had 149 yards rushing, and they end up losing the game because they can only come up with 6 points. Today he has all of their points minus the extra points.
New quarterback in there. Wide snap. It's a wildcat look for Reed. He spins near the first down marker. Looks like he has it.
That's a Laker first down.
Joshua Zucha trying some new things here. That was nearly disastrous for Southwest. Nice one-handed stab by Reed and got a first down to boot.
The wildcat formation, running a direct snap on the hash toward the sideline. They had the numbers. The snap was just a little bit off, so it threw off the timing, but still able to get the first down.
Lakers in no rush here with a 3-touchdown lead and just over 10 minutes left. Engen back in there as he pitches to Flaskamp, and he is cut down on a nice open field tackle by Marquez Monroe.
That was a good job by Marquez coming downhill.
You mentioned several times today tackling low for Kennedy. That was, you maybe like to see Marquez wrap up instead of using that shoulder, but it was effective enough.
Well, I think that Deion Barber did a good job shooting the gap, which flushed Flaskamp out to the outside, which creates the angle for your other guys who are running and trying to pursue. So even if he does come low, there's no angles to really cut back.
Flaskamp inside run. Hauled down by Deion Barber at the 40. Got a yard back. It'll be 3rd and 10.
I will say that Kennedy has done a better job over the last 3 quarters of filling gaps, getting off blocks, and making a tackle. So now you just got to finish it. You're also gaining turnovers too, so they haven't played horribly in the last 3 quarters.
Speaking of turnovers, I was just going to say, does Southwest even attempt to pass here? They've thrown for 7 yards and 2 interceptions. Engen wants to throw under heavy duress and fires incomplete. Good pursuit by Christopher Martin. It'll be 4th down.
It's good to hear Christopher Martin's name. He did a pretty good job flushing it outside. You know, he wanted to make the sack there.
I thought he was going to get there and spin him around as you watch the 2nd down play by Monroe.
Yeah, you know he wanted the sack, but sometimes it's just good enough just to make the quarterback just get outside of his rhythm. You know, show your athleticism, get outside, make him make an errant throw, which he did, and he did his job.
You bounced him back far enough where he couldn't really think about tucking and running it either from that point. So now after a quick possession, Kennedy will get it back, and it was nearly blocked by Martin. Returned by Marquez Monroe. Monroe up the sidelines. Still on his feet near midfield. And then stopped at the 48. So again, Kennedy, very good field position.
All these plays are great. All these plays are great. Now you have to finish. As you see, this almost got blocked.
Christopher Martin was close. Nice return, though, by Marquez Monroe.
I still would love him to put the ball in the correct hand. He just tries to nuts with it. You know,
especially those first 2 steps where he's kind of using it, making a weird kind of motion, but he didn't have it tucked high and tight.
Only one person can do that, and his name is Deion Sanders. That is not your name, kid. Tuck the ball in the correct hand. You almost lost it there. Somebody talk to my guy. I care about him.
So talented, Marquez.
Very is.
Just a sophomore. Kennedy near midfield. And in motion, Deion Barber. Take the handoff. Zesh.
He's open. Too late.
Has Luke Dozian, but it's badly underthrown and intercepted. Picked off by Marcus Maddox for the 4th Kennedy turnover of the game.
I know there's some people that are going to say, why throw the ball there? Well, first, you're down 20. So you do got to have something. So I love the play call. I just feel like the youngster, if you go look at tape, Zach, you had him open quick. You know, good play action. Now, set your feet, throw the ball. You took about 4 extra steps, which gave defense the opportunity to come catch it. You had him open in a window. You don't have a long time. You got to get rid of that ball. or throw it away. Throw that thing out of bounds.
Southwest right back on offense. Flaskamp to the left, where he's had a lot of the success today. He's out of bounds in Kennedy territory after a first down as he picks up 12. Well, actually, they mark him all the way at the 42, correction, gain of 17 for Flaskamp, who stayed in bounds longer than I thought anyway.
Kennedy calling a timeout here. I think it's an injury timeout. Turnovers are hurting the Eagles. Every single game, I think you can probably look at the stats and say, we would do well, but. We could do well, but. And that but is take care of the ball. Got to take care of the ball. Cannot give the other team. You can't play for the other team. It's easier said than done, but, you know, if you get on film and you track yourself and you really look at how to get better, you don't make those same mistakes. And Kennedy just continues to make the same mistakes, whether it's putting the ball on the ground. You know, you're getting better defensively tackling. You can see the growth. But offensively, you know, you start moving the ball and you just throw the ball away or fumble the ball. Those are mental errors because it's happening over and over and over.
Just 8:05 remaining here in the fourth quarter. So after the timeout, Minneapolis Southwest. Flaskamp still in there. Carry number 24 for the senior. More room on the left side. Still going upfield. And ushered out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Another first down for Nick Flaskamp. Nearing 250 yards now.
Ball at the Kennedy 21-yard line.
84 could have made the play. Do you see that? He just kind of stumbles his feet. You got to have more of a motor if you're Chris Martin. You got to come downhill, make that tackle on the line, down the line of scrimmage. Flaskamp using up this left side of the line. I would think that they would do much of the same thing.
Back to Flaskamp.
There he is. Now he's there.
To the 19-yard line. 242 yards now for Flaskamp on 25 carries.
What I'm noticing on film is that people are just letting Christopher run around. They are either running away from him or they're going to run toward him, not block him. He's going to run himself out of the play or not have enough motor to make the play. So what happens is you get numbers on one side of the field. And I know he's a youngster. He hasn't been put in that position before, but he's got to start making plays.
Flaskamp again, backing his way to the 15-yard line. We'll bring up third down here, but under 7 minutes now with the next snap.
Ball spotted at the 15-yard line.
It's a pride play right here. You know, the game's probably out of the way.
Yeah, I think that last interception kind of took the wind out of Kennedy's sails.
But this defense has done a very good job over the past 3 quarters. Got to make a play here.
Brown on the inside handoff, not going to make the first down. He's
Brown, the ball carrier.
a couple yards short. Southwest will likely go for it here on fourth. But you're right, DJ. This defensive unit hasn't given up a point since midway through the first quarter. Southwest touchdown in the second half came on that fumble recovery, scoop and score.
Whichever line is most physical usually is winning. And I know that's a cliche, and I don't want to be cliche, but if you look at this film and you watch this, if you're watching this game, the offensive line or the defensive line that's most aggressive gains the edge. And there has to be a teaching tool if you're Kennedy and you go back into the lab. You just got to say, let's just bring our best group. Play hard.
It's 4th and 2. Engen looked like he wanted to throw wide, but he won't get a chance. It's a false start.
Looks like a false start.
See what they do now on 4th and 8. They're too close to punt, so they'll probably still go for it, you would imagine. Stick around on the post-game show, DJ, and I will have highlights and our final thoughts on this one. Kennedy will hit the road next week against St. Croix Lutheran. We'll see them against Columbia Heights on November 6th. That's a Friday game. We don't know where it's going to be played yet, but there's a field goal attempt. And this is not a chip shot either. This would be about a 37-yard field goal. Southwest is going to take a timeout to think about it.
Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of trying to, you get a chance to get better at something, try it, and it doesn't hurt you because, you know,
Worthington.
Kennedy has not shown the ability to really score. So go ahead and try. I'd rather do that than Kennedy pick up a fumble, run it back for a touchdown, or an interception, run it back for a touchdown. Their defense has shown that they can be stout. So go ahead and kick it and get better at something.
Score update from down in Worthington. It's still 0-0. That game is going into overtime in the boys soccer section championship. And they won't end in a tie. Someone's going to score eventually, or it's going to go to PKs. But hopefully Kennedy can grind out a section championship win with either a golden goal or, I like their odds in a penalty kick shootout. They've got some guys that can strike it. Here's that field goal we talked about, officially 36 yards it looks like. A little bit of a low snap, kick on the way, twisting, no good to the left, but it had the distance.
Good job by the defense to get off the field.
They've given Kennedy a chance to win in this game. Pretty good hold, and that, see that twisted a little bit too far to the left. I don't mind that though. You're trying to give, maybe you need a kick later on in the year to try to win a game or tie a game, and not much to lose there. Really, the only disastrous thing would be if it was somehow blocked in return, but Kennedy now starting with 6:07 left. Defense is kind of finishing that thought. They've given them a chance to win in this game. They haven't allowed a point since the first quarter. They've generated 2 interceptions of their own defensively. You have to like the improvement of that unit here this week. Zesh slings it a little bit low and outside, intended for Marshall.
That would have been a great confidence throw. You just got to step into it, put your whole body into it. When I watch Zach a lot of his throws are the ball's going to go where his feet go. So if he's not putting his foot right on the receiver, the ball's going to float on him. So he's got to do a better job. This team needs him. He has to be able to complete those passes. That is an easy pitch and catch. Nobody's in your face. Nobody's rushing. You just take your time and just make the throw.
Barber in as the running back. To throw again, Zesh. Zips one over the middle, caught. Amirion Hanspard spun down at the 31-yard line. Kendrick Williams wants his team to hustle up. It's an 11-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, this is the time to work on your tempo stuff. You got wristbands. You know, it's time to get better.
Zesh again to throw. Looking right side again. Now floats it out for Barber. Caught at the 38. And Barber gets across the 40 to the 42. Should be enough for another first down.
And that is a very good read. You got 2 shallows, which means 2 guys running underneath. You got 2 deep routes. Nothing comes open, and you throw it to your check down running back. So Zach is getting better. You got all those reads, 4 or 5 reads, and he makes the correct throw.
Zesh on the in route, incomplete, broken up, intended for Luke Dozian. And I'm going to get back to that throw to Barber. How many times have we seen him look down, I don't necessarily want to say stare down, but look only at that first option, make his mind up basically at the line of scrimmage. That time You saw that check down to Barber out of the backfield.
Yeah, and that's a security blanket. You know, you got to be able to look at all the things in front of you.
2nd and 10. Hansbard wide open and dropped it.
Can't complain with that, Reed. That was a great throw.
Hansbard wanted to turn it back to the outside, which probably would have been a good decision, but he didn't catch the football first.
If you see, Zach looked to the right, and then he took his eyes back to the left. So my guess is he wanted to go to Amarion. He just didn't stare him down that time. Very good job by Zach.
3rd and 10. Sash under pressure and sacked back at the 35-yard line. He looked to that check down out of the backfield, but it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, he had the quick out. I don't know if he felt confident with a guy in his face right there. It's very hard to step up and throw in the pocket when you got people in your face.
So Martin will come out to punt.
Marion, stay out there. Marion, be gunner. Gunner on this side. Gunner on this side.
There's Martin, that kind of unorthodox punting style. Caught here by Reed. Reed with a nice return, his best of the game. Into Kennedy territory to the 39-yard line.
That is a great return.
Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed has had a nice game with an interception.
Will begin 1st and 10 at the Kennedy 39-yard line.
The Eagles have basically been defeated this afternoon by one guy, number 7 right there, Nick Flaskamp. He's had help from his offensive line, of course, but Southwest has thrown for 7 yards and 2 interceptions in this game, and they have about 10 yards rushing outside of Flaskamp. Literally a one-man show this afternoon. Has it again for carry number 26. Gain a yard to the 37-yard line.
It's just a mentality. You know, they came into this game saying we're going to give the ball to number 7. There was some times where you could tell they were trying to do some different things, but none of that worked.
Yeah, they have settled in on, especially now with the lead, there's no reason to attempt a bunch of different things when Flaskamp continues to be dependable.
Well, they will have to get better at some other things because my guess is, you know, other teams will watch this film and pack the line, put guys in the gaps, and bring us a run blitz of 1 or 2 or something like that.
Flaskamp again stretches out for a yard.
With a bit of a flash fake, but still giving the ball to number 7. His ability to lean forward gets him positive yards. 3rd and 7.
Normally a passing down, but with under 3 minutes left, wouldn't be surprised to see Southwest keep it on the ground once again. They're going to need some other options. I mean, you just can't run a guy 30-plus times every game. Kennedy coming with a blitz on Engen, lofts it down the sideline, and it is caught for the touchdown. So there's another option for the Lakers, and it's Reed.
Jaden Reed, the Swiss Army knife. He has an interception. He's been all over the place in special teams. Now he has, look at him stay close to the numbers, high point the ball. Just be able to have his eyes on it, keep his focus, catch the ball for a touchdown.
Pretty good coverage, but a good throw and a good catch. Gets past that coverage. 2nd touchdown of the year receiving for Jaden Reed. And the 5th for Preston Engen, who until that throw was not having the best of days. That turns things around a bit as the extra point is good. 27-0 now, Southwest with 2:32 remaining.
And like you said, they needed to find something else other than Flaskamp Number 10 floating outside the pocket, just throws the ball up, giving his receiver a chance. Jaden Reed scores the touchdown.
I mean, they've got games coming up in their last 3 against Minneapolis, Washburn, and Minneapolis North. You're not just going to be able to run number 7 35 times and expect to win those games. They're going to need contributions from guys like Jaden Reed and Preston Engen, who combined for that touchdown.
Yeah.
Reed happy about that touchdown catch.
Landon Ramos in to kick it away.
Another deep kickoff from Ramos into the arms of Zaire Marshall. Steps out of a tackle, Zaire. Has room up the sideline. Another good return to midfield for Zaire Marshall.
Zaire Marshall has been a spotlight for Kennedy today. There's a light shine on him today. He's made plays, stayed positive, doing whatever Coach Kedrick Williams asked him to do. He's got an interception. He's running the ball. As you can see, that's a very good deep kick. The ability to field it, find the gap, put his foot in the ground, keep his feet rolling, change direction, and put the ball at the center of the field.
That's his 3rd return to basically midfield in this game for Kennedy. See if the Eagles can get in the end zone here on their last drive of the game. New quarterback is Jesse Falk. He's under pressure, but floats it out complete. And that's caught by Antonio Ortega Escobar at the 38-yard line for a gain of 13.
Jesse Falk in the game with the ability to throw the ball. He can throw the ball, but he can also run the ball as well. It's good to see him get a completion there. He's been in these positions before, so he just needs to be confident and throw the ball.
Played a lot of quarterback last year for Kennedy. Steps up over the middle, a little behind Ortega Escobar, and could not hang on.
Jesse Falk, more of a in-the-pocket thrower. He's going to step up. He's going to make plays. He doesn't have the natural arm strength that Zach does, but he can make reads and he can get the ball out quick.
Empty backfield, 5 wide for Kennedy. Trying to push for a touchdown here late. Falk steps up, running out of time, takes off, and taken down basically right at the line of scrimmage by Sam Bennick. Lucky he didn't lose it there as he kind of waved that left arm over, trying to get that ball over the head of the 6'4" Bennick.
You can see his athleticism to be able to evade pressure. I'd like to see him keep his eyes downfield to make the throw.
3rd and 10. Falk steps up, fires, caught. No, incomplete. Unable to hang on, Toby Samaski, the junior number 14 wide receiver for Kennedy. So on 4th down, you would think Kennedy would go for it here with just 1:25 left. Southwest trying to complete a shutout. Remember, they almost shut out. Well, their defense did shut out Columbia Heights in the season opener, but they gave up a safety in a 29-2 win. So technically not a shutout, but second time potentially the defense would not allow a point. And a timeout, Kennedy.
Prior to the snap, Kennedy takes timeout, leaving them 1 left.
Upcoming schedule for the Eagles, they've got St. Croix Lutheran next Friday. We'll see them maybe somewhere in Bloomington against Columbia Heights on Friday, November 6th, and then they end the season at Mound West Tonka. We'll see if the Bloomington Stadium field dries up enough to be playable in 2 weeks.
Double Butterburger basket.
Kennedy has done some good things offensively, and I felt like they found some guys that can make plays. It is consistently their inability to hold on to the football and not turn the ball over. And it's as simple as that. If they can shore that up and find some consistency, because I think the offensive line is pretty comfortable in the zone run game going forward. I think they have athletes that can make the extra plays. They're keeping it pretty simple. They just cannot turn the ball over.
Well, they haven't quite been consistent enough to sustain long drives, but at the same time, they haven't been explosive enough to where they don't need long drives to score. So they're kind of caught in the middle a little bit. See if they can convert on this 4th and 10. Falk stepping up, lofts it, and it's going to be intercepted. Is that Reed again?
Yep.
It is Jaden Reed with his 2nd pick to go along with that touchdown and several good returns.
I mean, it's hard not to say maybe he might, if we were picking the player of the game, are they going to go head for head? I mean, we can't go over 200 yards. You can't go against that, but he catches 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
248 is what I've got Flask Camp unofficially. But yeah, Reed has certainly made his imprint in this game. Those two just stick out so much in the stats. That's why it was pretty easy to spotlight them as the players to watch out for Kennedy, and they've certainly known about those two, but it has been Flaskamp and Reed who have made the plays for the Lakers in this game.
And it comes down to simply that, just making plays. It doesn't matter what scheme you have. I was talking to some of the coaches before this game from Southwest, and they weren't thinking about scheme. They were thinking about players. They just wanted to put their players in positions and just go make plays.
Southwest content to just take a couple of knees. Kennedy only has 1 timeout. Probably will not use it. Minneapolis Southwest going to move to 2-1. They've got a difficult closing schedule. They have to play Minneapolis Washburn, who leads the Twin City Red Conference. Then they've got Richfield, which a game they'll probably be favored, and then a tough one to close at Minneapolis North. So they picked up their 2nd win here, but tough schedule the rest of the way.
I think the Richfield game is going to be a good one. I think that's going to be closer than most people think. I think it might come down to the wire. You see that offense versus this defense will be very interesting. I think there'll be some challenges there. Excuse me, the Richfield offense versus the Southwest defense.
Right, Richfield, a team maybe more than any in the Twin City Red. You could say Washburn too. They've got outstanding quarterback in Andrew Gottsman, but certainly Richfield with Ryan Miles and company certainly can throw the ball. They're not a one-dimensional team. Minneapolis Southwest was pretty much one-dimensional in this game, DJ, but that's all they needed. Their defense played well, took advantage of 5 Kennedy turnovers, and got 248 yards rushing from Nick Flaskamp to win this one 27-0. We'll throw it to a short break and be back. Stick around for the post-game show. DJ and I will have highlights in our analysis after this as Minneapolis Southwest defeats Kennedy here this afternoon.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Back as Minneapolis Southwest defeats Kennedy today 27-0. The Lakers move to 2-1. Kennedy falls to 0-3 with the loss here this afternoon. Welcome inside our studio inside Kennedy High School alongside DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers. DJ, is a game that we knew what Minneapolis Southwest wanted to do, get it to Nick Flaskamp. They did. He rushed for almost 250 yards, and with that rushing success and some of the mistakes Kennedy made offensively, they just weren't able to overcome that.
It's a recipe for success if you're Southwest and a recipe for disaster if you're Kennedy. Southwest knew that they didn't want to play around. They just wanted to give the ball to number 7 and say, just drive us home, and he did much of that. Kennedy did a pretty good job over the last 3 quarters of sustaining things and had opportunities to win the game. You don't want to say that they didn't play hard, but just turning the ball over seemed to be the Achilles heel for the Kennedy Eagles.
In the critical spots, too, those 2 drives is that they were attempting to come back in the third quarter really hurt them. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this one. It was a great start for Southwest. They got it to Nick Flaskamp. First 2 drives both found the end zone for the Lakers.
He is a strong runner. He goes direct to his spots. He's really good with his feet. He's a pretty good blocker. He's a guy that you want at the next level, definitely. But Nick Flaskamp just did an outstanding job of carrying this team.
Kennedy forced some turnovers, though.
And
they got 3 turnovers, in fact. You saw the fumble recovery there. There's the pick from Zaire Marshall. Won't be the last time we hear from him. So he had a nice game for Kennedy.
He had a really nice game today.
And then the Eagles, they had 2 drives, their first 2 drives of the third quarter. If they could have scored on both of them, it would have been a much different game. And this is the play that really broke the back of Kennedy. Flaskamp with the scoop and score to make it 20-0.
Before then, Kennedy was just moving the ball. As you can see, he was just bouncing it outside. I think Deion Barber had carried the ball probably 3 other times before that. Just didn't have enough gas. But turning the ball over is kind of a mental thing. Flaskamp also carried the ball a lot, but he wasn't too tired to carry that ball in the end zone there.
And Southwest kind of puts the icing on the cake there with that touchdown catch to seal it there, 27-0, the final. Some things for Kennedy to build on. Obviously, we talked about the defense. They did some very good things. They played well enough for Kennedy to win this game. Save for maybe those first 2 drives, they didn't give up a point until that last touchdown throw that was kind of when the game was out of reach anyway. They forced 3 turnovers. I think it's a Kennedy team that if they can continue to tackle like we saw in the last half of this game, they can take some big steps in their in the last half of the season.
Well, I think their defense continues to grow, and that is pretty traditional culturally for the Kennedy Eagles. It's the offense that has to be able to mature. You got a lot of guys in positions in different spots, and they can be successful. Up front, I think, is where they really have to develop. You got some young guys. You got some guys that haven't played in those positions before. But if they can continuously grow, play physical, find things that they do consistently and do well, then it'll be fine. But the defense, very impressed with what they did the last 3 quarters, filling the gaps, making tackles. They're growing. Now the offense just has to come along for the ride.
This has already been a weird year, but this was a strange game, DJ. We're announcing it inside here, Kennedy High School, this game being played outside on the field turf, being moved from Bloomington Stadium. Just want to give the entire BEC-TV crew, John Anderson at Kennedy High School, they did a tremendous job, number one, getting this game to be played, but then from our broadcast standpoint, our crew putting in countless hours to make this broadcast happen. Hats off to all of our crew, and led, of course, by Tom Rindell. They did a terrific job today.
They did an outstanding job. When we walked in,
we have the easy part.
Yeah, we just have the easy part just to walk in, but hearing that people have been here since 4 o'clock in the morning to make this happen, you know, this stuff doesn't happen. You don't get a chance to watch your family and your friends without those great people. So shout out to Tom and everybody. You guys did a great job. Thank you guys very much.
We'll be back at it on Tuesday for Inside Kennedy Football and Inside Jefferson Football, getting you ready for next week's games. Kennedy will be at St. Croix Lutheran to start the second half of the shortened 2020 season. Our final once again today, Minneapolis Southwest defeats Kennedy 27-0. For our entire crew, for DJ Moffitt, this is Josh Powers saying so long from Kennedy High School.